Founders Classical Academy Natural History Project is a brand new science enhancement initiative of students from varying grade levels that desire to remove invasive species, restore Texas native plants, learn about natural history, and rehabilitate a multi-acre campus to invite bird populations and pollinators back. They were here before us. We use Project Wild activities to guide outdoor education and iNaturalist for our research recordings. We have partnerships with Texas Master Naturalists, University of Texas at Dallas, and Texas Instruments, who will come out to consult the students and the teachers. Most of the students live in the area and will make connections to living in the Metroplex while also caring about wildlife in a traditional urban setting. See, urban environments have long been considered unnatural and human-created. The fancy word for that is anthropogenic. While this is true, most, and I'm using air quotes here, natural environments are also affected by humans in some way, shape, or form. In an urban environment, all of the normal processes of nature still take place. There are energy inputs, water flows, and species interactions, but they occur differently from what is taught in standard ecology, for those areas are remote. Generally, urban areas are associated with decreases in diversity of native species due to habitat destruction as well as competition or predation from non-native organisms. Think house cats killing wild birds. Built structures can remove discrete habitat patches and can completely remove the habitat of plants and animals. Built roads become geographic barriers that can affect migration corridors and lead to accidental deaths of animals. Think roadkill. While urbanization does negatively impact native species that are not used to living in close contact with humans, plants and animals that have learned to coexist with humans, and the fancy word for this is synanthropic species, well, they can find niches throughout an urban environment to inhabit. The urban environment contains all the standard components taught in every environmental science classroom across the country. And while this is the case, significant differences do exist between an urban area that most students inhabit and non-urban areas most commonly study in classrooms and those that are researched by real field ecologists. So awareness of the differences between urban and non-urban should allow students to feel more connected to the places they live and to realize that the urban environment, while it's novel because of us humans, is still a living, breathing ecosystem that's appropriate for study. You know, at the core of this is a simple idea. We are relational beings. When we see and understand the world properly, recognizing how much we depend on other creatures to eat, breathe, and flourish, then at a most fundamental level, this affects how we relate to God, to others, and with the rest of the created order. Whether we recognize it or not, how we see the world, how we see nature and other people, affects the choices we make, probably all the choices we make. But all too often, we assume that the present way of doing things, how we choose to live our lives, both personally and collectively, is the only possible way. We wrongly perceive or believe that nature is mostly just a resource to be used, and that the value of things is summed up in their monetary value. Yet this is so far from the truth, it's not even funny. Instead, the most important aspect of life, to sound cliche, is relationships, but it's relationships between people and nature, between other earthlings, if you will, birds and raccoons and worms, and relationship with a larger power or purpose. So why are relationships so important? Whether we look through the lens of ecology, politics, family, or religion, it's our belonging as part of a wider community and our manifold relationships that ultimately define us. Our very essence, then, is relational. But in my limited opinion, I think we've lost our way. We've forgotten who we are, and for innumerable generations we have sought to be the masters of our own lives, with too little concern for the lives and well-being of others, and, like I said, other earthlings, other creatures. What is needed today is a better understanding of the person, not just as an individual, but as someone who finds his or her true being in communion with others. The natural world is not only the theater in which our human story unfolds, but it's a living, moving system that's been around for eons. And we are to give ourselves in service to be loving stewards and caretakers of creation, and to know and faithfully tend all for the flourishing of all life. And so my aim, then, is not simply to get what we can out of nature for personal benefit, even if it's done sustainably, again, air quotes, nor is it to turn a profit at the expense of others, as all is for our common good. In the end, the essential work is not just to create a sustainable world as much as it is to build a more beautiful, healthy, vibrant, diverse, clean, fragrant, delicious, and just world. This is the Natural History Project. My name is Jason Brogdon, recording for the Natural History Project, Founders Classical Academy, Responsive Education Solutions, on June 25th, 2024.